Whether you're watching live or on replay, welcome to Thought of the Day. My name is Andrea Sampson, and I'm the CEO and founder of Talk Boutique and the Thought Leader Academy. And today's Thought of the Day is about creating impact. I was interviewed for a podcast yesterday, and one of the questions got me to thinking. The podcast host asked me why I feel so strongly that each of us has the ability and the responsibility to create impact. Now, this took me back to the early days of my career. I started as a fundraiser working in health charities, and it was something I loved. I actually used to say my job was to sell a smile because I helped others feel good about how they were investing their money in these charities. And I loved working in an impact driven environment. I got to work doing things that were directly related to people's quality of life and even research breakthroughs. I always wanted to contribute to the future in ways that utilized my skills, my knowledge, and even my insight. And when I left fundraising, I went into advertising thinking that I could influence the work that we were doing to sell products to include more subtle cues that would create impact. What I believed was that we could look at our ads and look at things like gender equity and charitable giving, even diversity. And I mean, advertising is a really powerful vehicle. And I truly did believe it could support all of these. But the reality is, advertising was in service of selling, and trying to put these cues into these ads just became too subtle. And it just didn't work. And so, I found myself for many years not really feeling like I was creating impact. But it never really left me the desire to create impact. In the year that I was turning 50, I realized it was time for me to step more fully into my desire to leave a legacy that I was going to be proud of. At the time, I was doing some work with TEDx Toronto, and the world was what I saw was a world heavily influenced by impact. Working with the TEDx speakers was really fundamentally life changing for me. What I saw were so many experts who were doing meaningful work in the world, but they were so busy doing that work that they weren't telling anyone about it. And I realized that we all needed to know of the work they were doing because the work they were doing was actually changing our future. They were doing work that was creating a world that was better in the future than the one we have today. But they were so busy doing that work that none of us knew about it. And so we were living in the social narrative that was being fed to us often by news, and it didn't really look all that positive. I realized we needed more of these positive voices. We needed to know of their work, and we needed to build more diversity into our thought leadership, to have the voices that have typically been marginalized or ignored provide context and insight into the decisions that were being made for us by our leaders. I realized that so many experts and change makers were just being ignored or sidelined because they had alternative perspectives. But it was those very perspectives to create the future we want, a future that's inclusive, sustainable, and reflective of all of those living within it that I wanted to support. I know that we can impact our future, and creating impact is something that each of us has the ability to do. So I'm using my influence, my insight, and even my knowledge to support this. This is why I'm so passionate about creating impact. And it's why I'm committed to creating more diversity within our thought leadership, because thought leaders build our future, and they do this by using their influence to create the impact that they want. And by doing that, they build their careers and their income so that they can do more of it. Now, I've talked lots about creating thought leaders through the work we do at the Thought Leader Academy. And you can certainly check it out in the caption for more information. And I'm really excited that if you're in the Toronto area, come and meet us because we are so excited to announce the return of our Talk Boutique Salon series. We've got one coming up on June 13th. Check out our email newsletter to find out more about it. And if you are not signed up for our email newsletter, head on over to talkboutique.com now and sign up. The Talk Boutique Salon series is an exciting event where we have experts and change makers who have become thought leaders on our stage, helping us to make sense of some of our biggest societal challenges. At this one, I am going to be speaking as well, and I'm so excited. So don't forget, follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube, and sign up for our Talk Boutique newsletter to make sure that you get all the latest news. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll meet you here tomorrow for my next thought of the day.